Clay Daniel, Director of LSAT Preparation for Claiborne Education. I want to talk a little bit about turning around the mindset toward the LSAT. Well, here's what I mean by that. It's easy to look at the LSAT and say, all right, we've got GPA on one hand. This is 4 years of my life. We've got the LSAT on the other hand. This is 4 hours of my life. And essentially, they are weighted the same at admissions. Some schools will lift up GPA a little bit more. Some will lift up the LSAT anymore, but a little bit more, I should say. But ultimately, how is that fair? 4 years, 4 hours. Well, there's a lot of answers to that. One of them is there's life and then there's fair, and we kind of have to enter life. We have to accept what the circumstances are. That's important to consider and to take very seriously. But I want to take it a step further and think about actually the advantage of 4 hours of the LSAT as opposed to 4 years of GPA. And I think it's this. It comes down to the idea of medians and the relationship of LSAT and GPA to median LSAT and GPA when applying to law school. Median, of course, if you remember from statistics, it's not the same as an arithmetic mean or an average, add up the scores and divide it by the number. It's simply the 50th percentile, the very middle score. Now, by the time that most students think about or really decide to go to law school, there's not a ton they can do about their GPA. Some may have decided by sophomore or freshman year, but many, especially by the time they get to us, when they're talking to us about taking the LSAT, it's more like junior, senior year. There's some change they can make in their GPA, but generally they have a pretty good idea relative to a specific school. If you look at the law school's median GPA, am I going to fall above that or am I going to fall below that? That's going to be hard to change in most cases because of all the work that's already, or hasn't, I should say, already gone into the GPA. Sometimes it's a case of, I wish I'd done more work, but here's where I am. That's where the 4 hours of the LSAT can actually be viewed as a great blessing, a real gift. If your GPA is below the median for the school that you're looking at, and I really need to have one of the two quantitative factors, GPA or LSAT, above that median, that isolates the LSAT, and you have a blank slate there. You have a fresh start. If you plan ahead and prepare well, you can completely revolutionize kind of your profile when it comes to law school applications. You can give yourself a shot at a school you ordinarily wouldn't have a shot at based on GPA. Yes, it does put a whole lot of weight. Law school admissions does put a whole lot of weight on one short test. But think about it positively. Think about what opportunity that might provide for you. The LSAT is decipherable. It may not feel like it when you first encounter it, when you first take a practice test, but like any other standardized test, it is masterable. And it can be done, although it takes a good while. The average student spends 200 to 300 hours preparing for the LSAT. That's a lot fewer hours than you put into classes for all your 4 years of college. So there's an opportunity here to those who will take it. Don't despair if your GPA isn't where you want it to be. Yes, still try to get it closer to those medians, even if you'll never get above a median for a particular law school. It matters. It's better to be closer to the median than far, far below it. But bottom line, it's most important to be above that median in one of the two factors at least that can get you in the conversation where your intangibles and other aspects of who you are and how you've prepared and what you could bring to a law school can become a real factor. So don't give up on the LSAT. It's a fact of life that it is such an important criterion for law school. But if you turn around your thinking, if you turn away from the attitude that says that's not fair or is kind of fatalistic about it and embrace that challenge as an opportunity, it can make all the difference in opening doors for your future. I'd love to talk to you about it more. So come talk to me and let's take a hopeful view of the LSAT, knowing that we can conquer it together.